Hello and welcome to Spectrum News at 4. I am Janice Cobham coming to you live from Uyo, the capital city of Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria. Let's take a look at the headlines. President Buhari canvasses duty-free market access for least developed countries. Atiku PDP leaders storm INEC office, protest election outcome. Plus, 9 security officers reportedly killed in suicide attack in Pakistan. We will bring you details of these stories and more in a moment. Many thanks for joining us at the news at 4. First in the news this afternoon is a report that President Muhammadu Buhari has called on the developed world to grant duty-free and quota-free market accesses for products originating from the world's 46 least developed countries to ensure their integration in national, regional and global value chain. Buhari made the call at the United Nations Conference on least developed countries holding in the capital of Qatar, Doha, and strongly criticized the current structure of the global financial system, which places an unsustainable external debt burden on the most vulnerable countries. According to a statement by his senior special assistant on media and publicity, Garba Shehu, the president warned that such debt burdens would make it extremely difficult for LDCs to meet the 2030 Agenda for 17 Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs). In another development, President Muhammadu Buhari has charged warring factions in the Republic of Chad to prioritize national interest and secure their own country rather than decimating it through infighting. Buhari made the charge when he received the country's transition president and head of government, Mehmet Debay Itno, who visited him on the sidelines of the ongoing United Nations Conference on Least Developed Countries in Doha, the Qatari capital. The senior special assistant to the president on media and publicity, Garba Shehu, who disclosed this in a statement, said the president also expressed sympathy for the young Chadian leader whom, according to him, inherited a fragile state from his deceased father, Idris Deby. He assured the Chadian leader a good listening ears on representations, political, security, or any other matter related to his country. And moving away from that, the federal government has approved the disbursement of 308 billion naira worth of promissory notes to 199 exporting companies under the Export Expansion Grant (EEG) scheme. While issuing letters to some beneficiaries of the scheme, the Executive Director of the Nigeria Export Promotion Council (NEPC), Dr. Yakusak, commended the federal government and the National Assembly for prompt response in approving the payment of the outstanding claims to the beneficiaries. A press release issued by the NEPC's head of corporate commission, Ndubueze Okeke, shows that over 193 billion naira was approved for 133 beneficiaries of the scheme in respect of EEG outstanding claims for the period of 2017 to 2020, while over 108 billion naira was approved for 35 beneficiaries in respect of the expansion grant backlogs of claims for the period of 2007 to 2016 respectively. The scheme is also intended to encourage the export of value-added products as against raw agricultural commodities. In a separate development now, the federal government and the government of India have signed a Memorandum of Understanding MOU for collaboration in the conduct of meteorological science, technical research and development. The MOU was signed on behalf of the Nigerian Meteorological Agency NIMET by its Director General Mansoor Matazu and the Director General Indian Meteorological Department Rutija Mohapatra, who signed on behalf of IMD during the Executive Council meeting of the World Meteorological Organization in Geneva, Switzerland. Explaining the essence of the memorandum, the DG NIMET said that the main objective of the proposed collaboration is to provide bilateral relationship between the agency and its Indian counterparts towards meteorological development in the two countries. Moving now to the judiciary, where the Supreme Court has affirmed Dauda Lawal as the authentic governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) in Zamfara State. The affirmation is coming 4 days to the March 11 governorship election scheduled by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) in the state. In a unanimous judgment, the 5-man panel of justices dismissed an appeal brought against the nomination by another governorship aspirant, Ibrahim Guswa. In the lead judgment delivered by Justice Adamu Jaru, the Supreme Court upheld submissions of the counsel to Lawal Damian Dodo that his client was legally and lawfully nominated in line with the provisions of the law. 1. The Chief Judge, Justice Tosho, disclosed this in a statement signed by the FHC's Assistant Director of Infrared. The Abuja-Lagos Port Harcourt Judicial would cater for cases from the Federal Capital Territory, North Central, Northwestern and Northeastern parts of the country, with Justices Ahmed Mohammed and Donatis Okorowo presiding. Moving away from that, the National Population Commission (NPC) has said that the population census scheduled for March 29 and April 2 will be conducted digitally and free. The Federal Commissioner (NPC) Edo State, Tony Ijena, disclosed this at a one-day capacity building workshop for journalists on effective reporting of the 2023 population and housing census in Benin. Ijena noted that a large turnout of citizens would go a long way to ensure the success of the exercise. He also commended President Muhammadu Buhari for approving the census, which he said was needed for national planning 17 years after the last exercise was conducted in 2006. On electoral matters, the national leadership of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) has led a black uniform protest to the national headquarters of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) in Abuja to protest the outcome of the February 25 poll. The PDP flag bearer, Atiku Abubakar, the party's national chairman, Iyocha, the vice presidential candidate of the party, and Governor Ifeanyi Okowa of Delta State, among other leaders of the party, led the protest. The protesters reportedly blocked the INEC headquarters entrance, as the security personnel at the commission have since locked the INEC gates. Still on electoral matters, a pro-democracy organization, Center for Transparency and Advocacy (CTA), has demanded that resident electoral commissioners of the Independent National Electoral Commission in the last presidential election should be investigated for their alleged partisanship and connivance with politicians to sabotage and derail the exercise. The organization also called on INEC to investigate its officials, especially some regs electoral officers at the local government areas, supervisory presiding officers and ad hoc staff, while all those involved in electoral malpractices should be arrested, prosecuted and punished adequately to serve as a deterrent to others. The executive director of CTA, Faith Nwadishi, stated this in Abuja while giving reports on the group's observations during the presidential and National Assembly elections. Meanwhile, the United States ambassador to Nigeria, Mary Leonard, has noted that the February 25 presidential and National Assembly elections did not meet the expectations of Nigerians. Leonard, who stated this in an open titled "The Election of February 25," commended the presidential candidates of the Labour Party and the People's Democratic Party, Peter Obi and Atiku Abubakar respectively, for choosing to challenge the election results in court rather than resorting to violence. The U.S. ambassador noted that the February 25 poll resulted in mixed feeling and urged INEC to resolve the issues experienced ahead of the March 11 governorship and state houses of assembly elections. In a related development, the Independent National Electoral Commission has urged the presidential election petition courts to vary the orders that were granted to the candidates of the People's Democratic Party and Labour Party, Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi respectively, to inspect materials used for the last presidential elections. INEC, in a motion on notice filed on March 4, explained the courts to vary the order, which restrained it from tampering with materials used for the elections. The Commission said it is needed to reconfigure the bimodal voter accreditation system for the next round of elections. Meanwhile, Anambra State Governor Professor Chukwuma Soludo has dismissed the allegations that he has been contracted to eliminate the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi. Soludo said, as the governor, he remains the father of Anambra by his position and will not plot or collude to harm any lawful citizen of the state, including Obi. The governor stated these through his press secretary, Christian Aburime, who spoke to journalists in Awka today while reacting to a viral message on social media which alleged that Soludo had been contracted to eliminate Obi for free. We move now to Africa, where South African President Cyril Ramaphosa will be announcing changes to his cabinet today. The president's spokesperson, Vincent Magiyanya, said the changes were widely expected after Ramaphosa was re-elected as leader of the ruling African National Congress ANC party in December. According to him, it paved the way for the president to seek a second presidential term in election schedule for next year. He said Ramaphosa is expected to name a new deputy president following the resignation of David Mabuza and to also fill the newly created position of electricity minister as the country battles a power crisis.
Having exercised his constitutional prerogative, the President will announce the new National Executive at 7 p.m. tomorrow, Monday, the 6th of March, 2023. I will imagine that prior to that announcement, that resignation as a standard sort of operating measure and process, that resignation will be on the President's desk. Having exercised his constitutional prerogative.
And still in Africa, hundreds of Tunisians have rallied in Tunis in defiance of a protest ban. They demanded the release of more than 20 prominent figures opposed to the president who were arrested in recent weeks. Recall that the public figures were locked behind bars under former ruler and ousted President Zine El Abidine for alleged terrorism and causing recurrent food shortages as well as plotting against the state. Meanwhile, in February, the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights expressed concern over the deepening crackdown against perceived political opponents and civil society in Tunisia, including through measures taken by the authorities that continue to undermine the independence of the judiciary. The policing of festival. Kachi District's Deputy Police Commissioner Sami Aga confirmed that it was a suicide attack. According to him, it is the second attack on security. And still on the foreign scene, Japan's Coast Guard Kisuki Nakao says one person is dead and 6 missing on a boat capsized, which was spotted in waters off the Tokyo-controlled Senkaku Islets. According to him, it is unclear where the boat had initially capsized, but a Japanese Navy patrol spotted it drifting in waters north of the island. He added that the Coast Guard has been searching the area with patrol ships and helicopters since the report of the incident. Meanwhile, Taiwan's foreign ministry confirmed in a statement that the vessel was a Taiwan-registered fishing boat with 1 Taiwanese and 6 Indonesians on board. And still to come in the news, Djokovic extends record as world #1. Do stay with us.
One truth not often told is about the transformation that Africa has undergone in history, truth, detail, and the color of the African continent. Join Uyai Anyekan every Tuesday and Thursdays at 4:30 p.m. Spotlight Africa, telling the African story.
Thanks for still being there. Now to the rest of the stories. We begin with our business news. In business, the Central Bank of Nigeria has disbursed 114.17 billion naira to beneficiaries under its 100 for 100 policy on production and productivity since the commencement of the intervention. This was disclosed in a communique issued by the CBN Governor, Godwin Emefiele, after the last monetary policy meeting held in Abuja. Emefiele stated that the funds were expended on 71 projects across healthcare, manufacturing, and agricultural sectors. Highlighting the objective of the initiative, the CBN said it was designed to catalyze import substitution of targeted commodities, increase local production and productivity, increase non-oil exports, and improve the foreign exchange earnings capacity of the economy. And still in business now, digital banking has reportedly been very challenging for many Nigerians in the last few weeks since the introduction of the new cash policy. The events of the last 6 weeks, where access to cash has remained increasingly limited, compounded by inability of the automated teller machines (ATMs) to dispense cash and spiral failures of point-of-sales (POS) machines, as well as prolonged downtime in internet banking, have reiterated the need for aggressive investment in the payment space of the banking sector. Recall that the drive for digital banking was part of CBN's cashless policy introduced in 2011. According to statistics from CBN, at the onset of the cashless policy, total number of ATMs across Nigerian banks was 10,000, which grew to 17,000 in 2015 and 18,000 in 2017, before recording 22,500 as of December 2022. Let's move now to health, where nutritionists have dispelled the notion in meals is unhealthy are often based on myth and not backed by scientific evidence, stressing that all foods can be eaten together except in cases of allergies. The experts, Mesoma Eze, nutritionist at Noah Educational Center, and Anicho Prosper, nutritionist and dietitian at the University of Nigeria Teaching Hospital, said every edible food can be eaten by people, noting that there are no restrictions to that. They urge Nigerians to rather look into the quantity and quality of the food they consume while also trying to ascertain the ones they may be allergic to, adding that some of the foods people may not be able to tolerate could be due to the mode of preparation, level of flavor, and the ingredients used in their preparation. And still in health now, child health experts have cautioned parents against forcing their children to use infant walkers, noting that the use of walkers will not help babies walk early. The pediatricians noted that they are discouraging the use of baby walkers by parents not only because it has no added advantage to the child's ability to walk, but also due to the exposure of the baby to varied safety risks and hazards. A consultant pediatrician with Mercy Street Children's Hospital, Lagos, Dr. Zainab Opola, disclosed that the reason pediatricians discouraged the use of baby walker was that it is prone to accident. Opola urged parents whose children are experiencing delays in achieving motor milestone to seek trained medical personnel for evaluation and clarification. In sports now, President Muhammadu Buhari has charged the Flying Eagles to defy all odds and win the ongoing CAF Under-20 AFCON in Egypt. Nigeria will be facing the Gambia today in the semi-finals of the competition, with a ticket to the FIFA Under-20 World Cup finals already secured. Delivering Buhari's message to the team, Sports Minister Sunday Dare, alongside former Super Eagles captain and aide to Buhari, Daniel Omokachi, in Cairo, encouraged the Flying Eagles to aim for the ultimate prize. And still in sports, Novak Djokovic extended his record of weeks as world number 1 to 379 in the latest ATP rankings released today. Although Carlos Alcaraz remains on hot pursuit, the 35-year-old winner of 22 Grand Slam titles urged ahead of Steffi Graf's all-time record last week despite losing in the Dubai semi-finals to Daniil Medvedev. The Russian ended Djokovic's 20-match win streak and perfect start to 2023 before claiming his third title in as many weeks with defeat of compatriot Andrei Rublev in Dubai. Meanwhile, he moved up to a place to 6th. On entertainment news, the West African folklore has continued to collect awards and positive reviews wherever it goes. Following a great run at Sundance this January, CJ Fieri Obasi's Mami Wota headed to the Pan-African Film and TV Festivals of Algodago FESPACO for its African premiere. Here, the black and white drama continued its award sweep by picking up 3 trophies at the festival themed African Cinema and Culture of Peace. Mami Wota won the African Critics Award at the Special Awards Gala. Next, the drama received an Cinematography Award, and finally, the Set Design Award at the closing award ceremony in Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso. And still on entertainment, the pair Jovia were evicted during the live Big Brother Titans show yesterday. They became the 5th pair to exit the game. Meanwhile, shortly after the exit, Yalisa, Yemi Craigs, and Nelisa were also evicted from the ongoing show. And that's all we have on Spectrum Television. Do well to follow us on all our social media platforms and ensure to subscribe to your YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website at spectrumtv.ng. You have been watching Spectrum News at 4. My name is Janice Cobham. Do have a great day.